Hello and welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally and today... Damn it, I hit the microphone. Hello and welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally and today we have one of the craziest videos I've ever seen Watchtower make. I was planning on taking like a little week or so break, not really make any videos or anything like that. But when I saw this, I absolutely had to turn on the camera and react to it because my God, is it absolute insanity. Many of you might be thinking, oh, this is just Wally with another one of his silly little thumbnails or titles, but this one is no joke. I can't believe what comes out of Samuel Hurd's mouth. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Yeehaw, we hit 10,000 subscribers, so that's pretty cool, and ZZ's about to knock a light over, so this intro is getting nice and wacky. Anyway, also down below is a link to the first interview I ever did with Ofelia. She, as if you guys watched that interview, she is pregnant, and her baby registry is down in the link below. So if you want to go and show some love to a fellow ex-Jehovah's Witness, a lot of us have lost so much, so, you know, it feels kind of nice to be able to try and provide a little bit of support and community to people. So anyway, if you guys do want to help her out or just check out her baby registry, it is in a link in the description of this video. Anyway, with all of that being said, let us embark on the absolute craziness that is Samuel Hurd's mind.
Well, we've got the text, I was given a thorn in the flesh. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So you think, or you may say, I know what it means to have a thorn in the flesh. I feel it. It hurts. It's like stepping on a sharp needle with your bare foot. It hurts. But now here's a question. Is that is one, needle in your foot that bad?
So at the annual meeting that we just discussed, Samuel Hurd looked a little bit tired. He couldn't even get up on stage to give his talk, but he had to have a pre-recording done. Now he's opening up this morning worship talk by playing with his pen, looking like he's completely uninterested. I just wonder if all of the years of him, you know, telling other Jehovah's Witnesses, and as he was growing up, being told, you're never going to get old, the new system is right around the corner, last of the last days. I wonder just now if he doesn't care. Maybe he just doesn't give a shit anymore. He's just like, yeah, you just gotta fix this pen. What's my topic? A thorn in the flesh? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be up here telling Jehovah's Witnesses that they shouldn't be complaining about any issues that they might be facing. So, what is he going to go on? Well, we're going to hear about this thorn in the flesh, but he does want to make sure that if you're just talking about one measly little issue in your life, you know, what's the big deal? Stop complaining, and it's about to get much, much worse.
Just one needle. I bet it hurts. See that picture up there? See a little blood coming out? Looks like he's getting ready to slap it, but I don't think he'd do that.
So now he puts up White Will Smith on the monitor here and says, hey, looks like he's about to slap that wound. Now, I just wanted to cut here because it might seem like I'm adding these pictures in to be funny or that I've somehow slowed down through editing his talk, but I've left this in its raw footage because, as most of you guys know, if you've been around on the channel for a while, usually I speed up these talks, but this one is so painful that I wanted everyone just to be able to come together, you know, and really get the sense of how just painful this talk is, where it's just this dead silence. Yeah, you have a thorn in your flesh. Looks like he's getting ready to slap him like, oh my God. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know I haven't slowed this down or done any editing shenanigans. Well, at least up until this point. But my God, this talk is absolute pain.
But I bet it hurts. It's more than just a sting. Just one thorn in the flesh hurts. But suppose that that's all you have. One thorn in the flesh. But what can hurt worse? Take a look. Ooh. Look at all those thorns. All over the man's body. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this man. This man fell into a pile of thorny barberry branches.
And Samuel Hurd is now demonstrating to us that he hadn't actually advanced beyond the 5th grade here because he doesn't even have an understanding of plurals and singular. This man is covered in thorns and he fell into a pile of thorn and it was barbaric. Now, as someone that is like a case study and always like misspeaking, I know myself, I'm very self-aware, and I laugh at myself. I have like the self-reflection. I'm like, oh, well, I really butchered that. I didn't say that properly, but at least I recognize it. But this man that claims to speak for God, this is his linguistic prowess. This is his ability to command an audience, to get your attention and flex his knowledge of the universe and of God and the Bible. Like, I don't know. I can't feel bad for him. I used to in like some of my older videos, like, man, I kind of feel bad for Samuel Hurd. But at this point, I just don't anymore because he has so many negative things he puts out there into the universe, and he literally takes part in destroying people's lives. So maybe I need to work on my compassion and my empathy, but as we're about to find out, this man has no compassion and he has no empathy.
This man fell into a pile of thorny barberry branches, and when he tried to get up, he fainted from pain caused by thousands of needle-like thorns were in his flesh.
This is all a miracle! I'm awake! I'm wide awake!
So the following 6 years, both he and doctors picked barbs from the body, totaling 32,131 thorns.
Now you might be thinking to yourself, hey, Samuel Hurd here is going to recount a story to us and tell us about an actual person, maybe give us a news clip of a man that fell into a thorn and was attacked by these barberries. But we don't get that. He never, I thought that by the end of the talk, he'd be like, now remember that guy I talked about? So he's like, this guy, this animated dude that's just a cartoon, he had all of these thorns in him, and doctors and him spent 6 years and hours trying to remove all these thorns. But he never ties it back to an actual person. I seriously think Samuel Hurd has completely lost it. Like, he cannot even keep like a coherent thought. And I mean, I'm a champion of not being able to remember the thing. Watch my live streams and you'll know. Hey, if you're not subscribed to the JW Streams channel, go check it out. I'll put a link down below. Anyway, but I like understand what it's like to get distracted, but the level that he does it is absolutely astounding. And to think, I always come back to this, to think, this is who the God of the universe chose. This man was handpicked from all of the humans that have ever existed on planet Earth to represent God himself. Think about everything he says in that very specific context because he claims to be handpicked and chosen by the God of the universe to represent him.
It hurts. Now, what did I hear you say about your one needle? But you say, but it's hard to take, Brother Hurd. It hurts and it's perplexing. It's getting me down. Well, can you still walk? Can you move about?
This is one of the most shocking clips of any Watchtower video I think I've ever seen. So first off, there's the thing of, well, you might be thinking, well, it's hard, Brother Hurd. Wait, wouldn't someone be saying that to God? Like, wouldn't they be petitioning God and saying, Jehovah, God, Jesus, whoever it is, it's so hard to deal with this problem. Can't I get some help? Which is a legitimate question that a lot of people that do believe in God ask themselves. Like, well, why am I not getting the answers to my prayers or to my questions? I'm doing everything right. But he puts it in this context. You might be thinking, but it's hard, Brother Hurd. It's hard, Brother Hurd. Who out there, who is a Jehovah's Witness that's going through a difficult time and saying, oh, it's so hard, Brother Hurd? And if you have said that about any one of the governing body members, you should take a step back. Again, I'm not a believer myself, but if you are a believer, ask yourself, is this person replacing God? Is he saying I need to be like, but Brother Hurd, things are so hard for me, instead of using that as a prayer to God? Are we suddenly supposed to be praying to the governing body and not God anymore? It's very disturbing. Now, then he goes and shows an utter lack of empathy or compassion, right? He's just like, now you might be thinking, well, it's just one. Well, can you still walk? Can you still move about? Someone that would even be, okay, let's put on the old witness hat. I'm praying to the governing body members and I'm going through a difficult time. And they say, can you still walk? Can you still move about? You're fine. Don't worry about it. Which pretty much goes in line with how they handle humanitarian efforts. Like when someone is going through a legitimate, life-changing circumstance or issue, the governing body and the Watchtower is nowhere to be found to help them. They just say, well, your local congregation, your local brothers and sisters will help you out with that. Even when we were going over the annual meeting, I think I even pinned the comment, but someone called Bethel about this. And they specifically told this person, take this for what you will. This is a YouTube comment and me talking about a YouTube comment. So I'll just put that out there. But they said that they had called Bethel and they said, well, it's on the local brothers and sisters to do these things. It's on the local brothers and sisters to help. You would imagine that an organization with billions of dollars at its disposal would just turn a blind eye to someone in actual need of help. And he's telling you right here, can you still walk? Can you still move about? Stop complaining. It's truly shocking at how little empathy that he demonstrates here. And when I saw this, I was like, okay, I need to make a video on it. And then the next part played, and it would appear that for his entire life, he has demonstrated he has no care for other living creatures on this planet.
Now think about it. When did you get your thorn? Was it before your dedication and baptism? Before you were baptized, you prayed earnestly from the depths of your heart to Jehovah for forgiveness.
And now that you are a baptized witness, no longer do you pray earnestly and heartfeltly towards God, but you need to beg for forgiveness from the local elders in your congregation.
Now you must accept his merciful forgiveness. But it still hurts from time to time. Paul didn't say it wouldn't. Yes, you were knocked down, but not trampled on beyond movement. So what do we say? We say, stand up. Get off the ground. Get on your feet. Move forward toward the new world that's just around the corner.
Yes, Jehovah's Witnesses around the world are absolutely suffering. A lot of that suffering comes directly from their involvement with the Watchtower organization. And what do they say? Rub some dirt in it. Get up. The end's just around the corner. I mean, I was told that when I was a kid. When I was a kid, the end's just around the corner. Rub some dirt in it. You'll be fine. Now I'm an old man, so I guess I'll just keep saying the end's just around the corner. Rub some dirt in it.
Here's something to think about. Think about King David. He got another man's wife pregnant, and then he tried to hide it, but couldn't. So he had him killed. Now, he repented from the heart, and Jehovah forgave him. He found solace. However, Jehovah did not eliminate the painful consequences of his sin. Their effects were to continue with David for the rest of his sinful, imperfect life. What do you think of when you see a beautiful little hummingbird? Isn't that something? What comes to my mind when I see one? Me at the age of 12 or 13, walking in the woods near my house, upon seeing a hummingbird on a limb of a tree, I took my slingshot and pebble and knocked it out of the tree, stone dead. I wasn't in the truth at the time. I killed a beautiful little bird. For what reason? Couldn't eat it. Well, maybe to prove to myself that I was a dead shot with my slingshot. Jehovah created the colorful little bird to bring delight to the eye. Well, that's a sad experience. That's mine, it's not yours. But do you have one? A sad experience?
Wow. Wow. So much to talk about here, I suppose. David got a man's wife pregnant and had the man killed, and he felt real bad about it for the rest of his life. Wow, that's so sad. And he really paid for it for the rest of his life, can't you see? Because the child was put to death. And David didn't even mourn the child's death. He just went and had some food. If you guys remember the story in the Bible. I think he's positioning this story because it's one of the most unempathetic stories in the entire Bible. David just wraps himself in sackcloth, says, no, the child is sick. Please, God, don't let the child die. And then the child dies and he's like, well, I guess I'll take a bath and eat some food. I'm not joking. I'll just put on screen here the actual verses so you guys can go read them yourself. But after Nathan had gone home, the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife had borne to David, and he became ill. David pleaded with God for the child. He fasted and spent the nights in sackcloth on the ground. The elders of his household stood beside him to get him up from the ground, but he refused, and he would not eat any food with them. On the seventh day, the child died. David's attendants were afraid to tell him that the child was dead, for they thought, while the child was still alive, he wouldn't listen to us when we spoke to him. How can we now tell him the child is dead? He may do something desperate. David noticed that his attendants were whispering among themselves, and he realized the child was dead. Is the child dead? He asked. Yes, they replied. He is dead. Then David got up from the ground. After he had washed up, put on lotions, and changed his clothes, he went into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he went to his own house, and at his request they served him food, and he ate. His attendants asked him, "Why are you acting this way? While the child was alive, you fasted and wept, but now the child is dead, you get up and eat?" He answered, "While the child was still alive, I fasted and wept. I thought, Who knows? The Lord may be gracious to me and let the child live. But now that he is dead, why should I go on fasting? Can I bring him back again? I will go to him, but he will not return to me." Then David comforted his wife Bathsheba and went to her and made love to her. She gave birth to a son. They named him Solomon. I remember reading this when I first woke up from my indoctrination, was reading the Bible through the first time. I was like, David had zero compassion. It was just all the sackcloth. It was all just a big show. And then he's like, well, guess the kid's dead now. Can't do anything about it anymore. May as well get cleaned up and have some food. And then he tells this story of David, and then goes and tells his own weird, crazy story of killing an animal that's just sitting on a branch. I don't understand this. Does he think that he's going to tell this story, be like, hey, so when I was 12 or 13, I definitely used to torture and kill animals. Hey, can you tell me your guys' story of when you did that? We have never tortured and killed animals because that's a fucked up thing to do. I'm not going to be like the YouTube psychologist here and break down the ramifications of someone that is torturing and killing animals whenever they are a young adult or a child. But I think we all know about this scenario and this situation. It is demonstrating from a very early age that you lack the ability to feel empathy and see, oh, that's another living, breathing creature. You know, I don't know, man. And he even says, well, it's not like I can eat it or anything. And that was to him, well, I wasn't in the truth back then. You weren't in the truth back then. Do you think that would have stopped you? Do you think you would have stopped because you were in the truth, whatever that means? I don't know if that's his excuse for this, but I am blown away by this. Absolutely blown away. And as he was giving this talk, it was like, wow, that's really weird how he's just telling people to rub some dirt in it. And, well, it's just one thorn. And look at this made up guy from my imagination. He has 6 years and 30,000 thorns. He still kept going. What are you complaining about one thorn? I was like, God, I mean, that's kind of not the thing you want to say to someone that's going through a difficult time, is to be like, hey, stop whining about it. Could be worse. Right? And then he goes and says, take it from me, I've had bad memories too. I used to kill animals. You used to do what now? And remember the thing I said before. This was the man that God decided he was going to need in order to dispense spiritual food to the entire planet. God was looking down at young Samuel Hurd with his slingshot and saying, that's my boy. That's my dude right there. One day he is going to be, telling women that their brains are smaller and therefore they need to be staying at home. He's going to need to be getting excited about killing people at Armageddon. Yep. One of these days when he grows up, he is going to be an insufferable piece of human garbage. So, yeah, I don't really have any empathy for Samuel Hurd, because that's really messed up, dude. And for you to just brush it off and say, well, that's my sad story. What about you? Why don't you tell me your sad story? I am so shocked that they actually put this on jw.org. And I want to know, who is the person that approves these? Who is the person that listened to this talk and said, I think it'll be good to have this put on the website? Who approved this? Who listened to this talk and didn't like? I can imagine if this was during morning worship, everyone's eating their eggs and toast and looking at each other like, what the heck did he just say? He killed a hummingbird with a slingshot, and he's positioning it as, well, David got another man's wife pregnant and then murdered him. So, I mean, no big deal, right? What is happening in this video? Wow, that was a proper Wally crazy rant, but I think deservedly so.
Some painful experiences may not quickly leave the brain after repentance and God's forgiveness. But what do we say? We say, don't dwell on them. Don't keep them before your eyes all the time. Push them aside by thinking about good things. Why not open the door to your brain and mind and let the good things come in?
And this is basically what it means to be a Jehovah's Witness. No matter what problem that you might be experiencing in your life, just remember, it's a tiny little thorn in your flesh. And how much better would it be to focus on the paradise? Yes, you are going to be able to live forever with as many watermelons as you can eat and baby pandas that can ride on your back. That is what you need to focus on. That is what it means to be a Jehovah's Witness. Ignore real world problems and think about watermelons.
Simply put a bandage on your thorn a little while longer. Jehovah will pluck it out very soon now, and the pain will be long gone forever. Remember this verse. This may have been one of the first verses that you took to memory, put to memory, and used in the field. Where is it? Well, it's Revelation 21:4. When I used to get out going door to door, I still use that scripture a lot.
When I used to get out and go door to door. Did he just say he used to go out door to door? Wasn't it like 2 or 3 months ago that they showed like a promo video of all the governing body trying to convince people that, yeah, we preach too. We preach just like everyone else. Clearly they don't go preaching anymore, but my God, is this wonderful to have out there. I wish that everyone that's never been a Jehovah's Witness can watch this video and get an understanding of what it's like to be a Jehovah's Witness and what exactly their leaders are like, because it is a perfect representation in my mind of what actually goes on in their minds, not just these, well, we care about you, and the organization and the governing body, we love you, and all of this crap. Here is a better representation of what they're actually like. What, you got some problems? Deal with it.
Here it says, and he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more, neither will mourning, nor outcry, nor pain be any more. The former things have passed away. Now, when that happens, we can say goodbye forever. This kind of pain will never return. Bye-bye pain, out of sight and felt no more. So the tree or bush producing the thorns has been uprooted and presently non-productive. Thank Jehovah.
And thus ends one of the most bizarre talks I've ever seen Watchtower produce. And I find myself saying that more and more lately, whereas before I usually was saying, well, not surprising they said this, not surprising they said this. But in the last, few months, it's not even like clickbait or anything. It's genuine, I'm staggered. I'm absolutely just dumbfounded at why they're making and editing and saying, yep, that's a good video to put on jw.org for the entire world to see. Anyway, don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.